Spot.
Reviews.
SpartanSteve.
MagicRy.
Dogs
Sleeping.
are good creatures.
They are good creatures. They're such a lovely company.
We've got the dice again.
It's got 6 sides, but there's only 2 outcomes.
He's like Sherlock Holmes. Yes.
All right, 1 through 3, he makes me review something. 4 through 6, I make him review something. And here we go. It's a 5. So I get to make you review something.
That is correct, young man.
All right, so I was thinking of video game this time.
I don't even know what those are.
And since it's so very few and far between that you and I actually play something relevant, but there is one. And this is Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor. What?
I was going to make you review that.
Really? This is the second time
This is the second time that's happened.
The first time was with the DK64, and this time it's with Shadow of Mordor. Did you know I was going to read that?
I didn't know. I know that.
I don't know.
Okay, so...
well, you were... whatever. Alright.
Okay.
So, I'm making you reviews. Like, I'll still share my thoughts, but I want to, like, ask, first off, this is, like, the first video game you buy in a while that isn't,
NBA.
like a sports game or Destiny.
Yeah.
So, and it's like you wanted a next-gen game. We both have PS4s. We split this game, and we said, hey, 50-50, let's split it, let's share it. You play first, and you got to play first, and I got to play later. What do you think of it?
Oh my god, like, where do I start? Okay, I'm gonna begin with, it's a great game. Not much of a plot, because it's kind of like squish, it's sandwiched in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. It's like, that's where it takes place. Inside of Mordor, which we never really see much of, especially in the movies. You kind of just see Mount Doom. You don't really think anything else of Mordor. But, yeah. So, you're given a main character whose family is, like, totally eradicated, like, right before his eyes. And he's, like, killed as well. And he's brought back to life. It's not really a spoiler. It's a vengeance story. It happens in the first 5 minutes of the game. I mean,
which is something kind of new for Middle Earth. Middle Earth is usually save the world, go throw a ring in a fiery mountain, or go take a dragon down and get some gold. But this is like straight up, you kill my family, die.
Yeah, more or less. Like, you killed my family, I'm gonna just go kill everyone.
Yeah.
Because I hate you, not because you have a ring of power.
So it's a simpler story.
It's a simple story. And I mean, the first, okay, you're given access to 2 different planes, and you have different missions within these planes, and you know what? It's so cool. Like, the action is cool, and it actually, you know what? During the first half of the game, I find it more difficult than the second half of the game, and I don't want to explain why.
I know why, and
you know why?
We won't say why, but
I don't want to explain why, but
all we can say is that it's a game where you get stronger as you progress.
It's a true, like, RPG. Like, you have to get stronger. You have to, like, it's one of those amazing games that forces you to do side missions.
I like that. I do like that too. It's like if you try to go just say, oh, I'm going to do the campaign first and do the side mission later. No,
you're gonna die.
No, you're gonna die.
And the best part of this game is death has consequences. I'm not going to explain what they are exactly, but I'm just going to say you're given 2 races, really. You're given the humans and you're given the orcs. And then our main character is like kind of something in between elf and human, but anyways, you'll understand.
He's like 2 entities.
Yeah, he's 2 entities. Anyways, you'll understand when you play the game, but you're given 2 different
You get the advantages of what makes an elf a good warrior and what makes a man a good warrior. You wield a bow, you wield
a dagger,
and a sword, so you get to just melee combat, you're a badass. Ranged combat, you're a badass. In stealth, you're a badass.
You're just awesome, and I mean, the stealth is damn cool. So anyways, what I was saying was the orcs. So they kind of have a political hierarchy. Like, there's a hierarchy, and there's a ranking system with them. And there's consequences when you die. That's all I'm going to say about that. every orc has his own identity, which I find so damn cool.
He has a title, he's got a backstory, and he can basically get stronger amongst his ranks.
Yeah, like it's so cool. It must have
The
taken
Nemesis
them
system,
forever
as
to
is what
build
they
this
call
game. It must have, yeah, it was on the Nemesis.
The Nemesis system.
Okay, it must have taken them forever to build this game. I mean, I feel like the terrain suffered a little. Like they didn't make it as voluptuous and delicious as they could have, but I don't even care because
They wanted to make it pretty instead of alive.
Yeah,
which, if that makes sense.
There's not too much new you could do in terms of combat. I think that if they make a second game, they'll throw in a little more features and get you like maybe a transformation or something like new.
See, I would have liked it if they went all the way with RPG and you can get gold, you can get armor, you can get different weapons and whatnot, and you could put it towards like, there's like a currency, but that's not really the case. It's like you say it's full-fledged RPG, I say it's RPG light.
I guess you're right in that sense because you can't like get new weapons. You're kind of sticking with the same ones, which I kind of wish you could get a new one. And like, cause I like the feeling like remember in Fable you used to like build this badass character.
I like games that do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying what the main character wears isn't cool, but you have to stare at it for 40 hours, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, I mean you want to build something nice. And I mean, like with Fable, like they allowed you to build this cool ass character. And this one, it's not. He starts with the game. He's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. But I would have liked to be able to add some more things and maybe change my weapon, change some skins, change the color scheme.
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress. The system, the combat system is so cool. It's so well done.
It's if you played the Batman Arkham games, you'll be familiar with this combat
very,
system.
very much like the Arkham games. It's like more brutal, obviously, because you're actually killing. Whereas in the Arkhams, you don't.
No, but I mean, like, the respective punch, counter, jump over. Heck, the crouch button is the same button as the crouching system for Batman, or the way you climb shit and all that.
But I have to say, what's funny is, if you get swarmed by enemies, you're dead. Just run. You have to run.
You could feel overwhelmed, but is that a bad thing or a good thing?
It's a good and bad thing, because, like, it throws in another element. It's like, okay, so you can't beat all these enemies now. Go do side missions.
Yeah.
You have to get some stuff. You need to level up in order to beat these guys. You need to level up your health. You know what? I just spent the first while just going through all my health.
See,
I was like, health, vitality.
See, the cool thing about this game is, despite adding RPG elements, it doesn't, and you do have to level up a lot, it doesn't feel like a grind. When you fight and you get stronger, you're not necessarily having your strength and defense go up. It's rather you're unlocking new abilities. So it's still skill-based. You have to learn how to be good at your newfound abilities. And once you've learned how to master a handful at once, you can pretty much take down any battle.
And you know what? It's another interesting element to the game. It's not like a regular like hack and slash where you can kind of just get in, press buttons, and you're going to just kill everything.
It's not Devil May Cry.
It's not Devil May Cry. You have to know the combinations. You're dead if you don't. If you get into a swarm of baddies, and they're like closing in around you, and you're like, I'm just gonna press a square button.
And the cool thing is, like you said, like all the orcs have their own identities. They have their own strengths. They have their own weaknesses. They have like they're invincible to like fire. This one, but he's scared of beasts. So you better stay away from that.
Oh yeah, and there's also like a beast riding system where there's 2 different like beasts you can ride. But I hope like in the next one, if they do have a next one, they
get a
add
horse,
a couple more, like maybe a horse or something.
It's an open world Middle Earth game. Like, give me a mount that is a pleasure to ride on.
And even when the game is done, they continue the system. Like, it's kind of cool in that sense. The bad guys aren't too difficult. I mean, like the actual like big bosses are actually relatively simple. It's funny because the side bosses are actually harder than the main bosses.
Yeah, but at least like the main bosses are a nice change of pace, because all the enemies in the games are Uruks or orcs. And the actual bosses are like, they're the legions of Sauron. They're men, or at least warlocks, and they have their certain abilities, and you have to like commit to different ways of actually fighting.
And it pays homage to the Lord of the Rings trilogy as well as The Hobbit, whereas you see Smeagol, well, he's Gollum, but you get to see him, and there's a bunch of missions.
Yeah, he makes an appearance.
It's really cool, precious. But it's so awesome. I mean, like, there's not a single really bad thing I could say about this game. The graphics are good enough.
They're good enough. I wouldn't call them next gen, but it's very like we're getting in the right direction.
Yeah, we're going to the right place.
But now that kind of brings out my personal fear with, especially with Batman Arkham Knight coming out. This game's good, but is it going to age poorly quickly?
You know what? I kind of agree with you in that sense because, like,
it's repetitive, just a little.
You know what I was actually thinking while playing this game? How cool it would be. They're coming out with this thing called Project Morpheus, and it's kind of a take on Oculus Rift.
Oh,
it's like a
okay.
PS4 take. I really would love to play that game like virtual reality style, like just slashing baddies and like blocking and.
I don't know how that would work, but that would be really cool.
I mean, that would be a hell of a workout, and I mean, you could safely say we'd give a lot of nerds would be getting 6-packs now.
Yeah. My only problem with that is they don't like make it too realistic. The abilities that your character can do are kind of akin to like Legolas. You know, he's just jumping all over the place. He's like doing things you clearly can't do. And when he climbs walls, he climbs them way faster than a body can handle.
I know, and there's also a really cool interrogation system. But anyways, I'm not going to totally dive into it. So we're going to just give it a score. So This is me. I'm going to say a strong 9.9 out of 10.
9. I know you're about to say 9.5.
Yeah,
and I do agree with that 9. Graphics. Maybe even an 8.5. I know that's brutal, and a lot of people are like saying this is one of the best games of last year, and I do agree. But every time I pick it up, all I can think is, ooh, it would be better if they did this. Ooh, it would be better if they did this. Like you and I agreed, more interesting mounts, give us more than Mordor to explore. Add a currency system, better RPG elements, and I'm going to say this right now, because it enticed you to do the side missions in order to actually progress and not die, I kind of forgot about the story as it went on. And it's such a small story. That's
not really much of a story. That's, you know what, I'm going to go to an 8.5, like you said, because of the story and the graphic elements. Anyways.
It's still a great game. An 8.5 is a great score.
Yeah.
And given that last year wasn't like the best year for video games, it was still one of the best. And awesome. I definitely recommend it if you have a PS4 and
also Xbox replayability, pristine. You could definitely replay it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty
8.5.
8.5 on the spot reviews.
MagicRy, SpartanSteve, Billy.
He spelled a dog.